still I believe.
So stories are fundamental to the human experience. The scientists say that the world is held together with atoms and molecules, and of course they are correct. But the world is also held together with stories. This is how we meet one another. This is how we intersect. This is how we create change and action on the ground by recognizing one another's common humanity in the course of understanding that we're so much more than ourselves and we're so much more than one story. I think stories can go across borders, across boundaries. They can shatter stereotypes, and they can pierce ideas. Some people might think that this is sort of a pie in the sky notion, but I don't believe so. I think stories are powerful precisely because they're difficult and precisely because they can institute change.
Well, this is an age-old story. Like almost 100 years ago, Einstein and Freud got together to debate how it might be possible to stop or to arrest humankind's propensity towards war. Einstein asked Freud in a series of letters if he thought it was possible to stop mankind's capacity for cruelty and evil, and Freud wrote back to say that no, he didn't think it was possible. However, one of the few things that could stem the great problem of war, evil, is to create what he called a community of feeling and a mythology of the instinct. In other words, storytelling. That we need to know one another. We need to create emotional connections with one another in order to be able to institute change and to go forward. So that one of the great things in combating all the difficulties that exist in the world is the ability to tell not only our own story, but to listen to the stories of others. Because the most important thing is the ability to listen to somebody else.
So is storytelling going to save the world? I mean, the answer is no. What's going to save the world is us recognizing one another's humanity. But we recognize one another's humanity through the power of storytelling. So, for example, I've worked with Israelis and Palestinians, and I've worked with two fathers in particular, Rami Elhanan and Bassam Aramin. And they both lost their daughters in separate incidents in the conflict. But what they say as they travel around the world, they say that we don't have to love each other, and we don't have to even like one another, though we hope that we could. But we absolutely must understand one another, because if we don't understand one another, we will be doomed. And they actually say that we will understand one another's stories when we're 6 feet under the ground. So let's try to understand one another's stories while we are living. And so while some people might think this is heartwarming to talk about stories and storytelling, I actually think it's heart building, and it's very courageous to do so. Stories can be dangerous things. Stories can take away your house. Stories can take away your country. Stories can take away your identity. And we must be careful with them. But in the right hands, they can work miracles. I'm not sure that this is a new kind of diplomacy. I think we've been telling stories since the dawn of when we were around. But is this the right time to start talking about these things? Every time is the right time. Yesterday was the right time. Today is the right time. Tomorrow is certainly the right time. Look, we need to know one another. We need to know one another across the divides, across the borders, across the barriers. But we also need to know each other close to home in order to be able to change things in our own communities. So I started I co-founded an organization called Narrative 4, which is a global organization that uses storytelling amongst young people to change their communities, to recognize one another, and to initiate change. That stories lead to action, lead to change. It's a global movement. We're in 42 countries, and it's getting bigger and bigger. One of the reasons why it's getting bigger and bigger is actually because there has been an epidemic of loneliness and isolation. And so many young people need to tell stories and want to tell stories. And often they don't even realize at first that they have to tell their stories. But when they do, they feel liberated, because the fact of the matter is that holding a story inside is an unbearable thing. And the ability to be courageous, to step outside yourself, and to recognize somebody else's story is part of the medicine that we need. There is a healing that comes about in what is, frankly, a very broken world right now.